So we can see as much as 500,000 veterans each day that are in some kind of shelter on the streets or out in the alleys behind dumpsters or wherever.
Now, who's supposed to keep track of the numbers? Whose responsibility is that, and are they really doing a good job?
Well, there's no organization specifically designed to keep track of homeless veterans. It's become a statistic over the years simply because that's a personal interest, that we want to know what our country is doing for our veterans. There's organizations like the National Coalition for Homeless Veterans. There is the SAMHSA, which is the Substance Abuse Organization, who keeps track of veterans and alcohol and substance abuse. There is the VA, who kind of keeps track, but not really.
But isn't it sort of the VA's responsibility, because if they're doling out money to provide services for veterans, wouldn't they need to give sort of an accurate count? Well, for Congress to make these kinds of decisions?
Well, you would like to think so. You would like to think that they know exactly where every veteran is at any given time, whether they're homeless or not. They know exactly how many veterans there are simply by the numbers they're throwing out when the computers got stolen, when the laptop got stolen. They said, well, there's 26.5 million veterans. We know that. You only have 5 million veterans enrolled in the VA system. So what number they're really using to determine that is really what they're trying to present to the public. You know, and we know that the easy way to keep track is by the Department of Defense just saying, this is how many soldiers, Marines, airmen, sailors have separated from service this past year. You add that to what you had the previous year, and now you have your total number of veterans. That would seem to be an easy enough to follow along with, but for some reason we can't seem to get that.
Now, who's really considered a veteran? What criteria does the government use?
That's a good question. The dictionary defines a veteran as a person who has served in the military. The VA defines a veteran determined on what benefit they're actually applying for. Now, a veteran who is a service member who has separated from the service under any discharge other than dishonorable is eligible for GI Bill, they're eligible for the VA home loan, they're eligible for per diems, they're eligible for a certain number of benefits. Now, a veteran who has a service-connected injury is eligible for more benefits. So it really is determined by which benefit you're applying for.
Now, let's say let's go back a little bit. Now, there are about, 3.5 million homeless people in this country, give or take 500,000, whatever. Right. What percentage of that are veterans? And among the veterans, what percentage of those veterans are females?
The number of homeless veterans, well, the percentage of homeless veterans it started out at 33%, which was last year they came out with a number. Again, we're trying to dwindle it down and say, well, it's not as bad as you think it is. So in November they came out with the number 25% of each homeless person is a veteran. Well, now recent studies come out just in these last couple of months that have narrowed that down even more to 23%. Now, are we doing better in taking care of our homeless veterans? Not in my point of view. Not the streets that I walk and not the places that the National Veterans Foundation goes to find the homeless veterans. We're really not. So, again, the numbers are kind of shaky, but it ranges, I would say, from 23% to 33%.